Israel says it plans to defend itself against South Africa's allegations that its government and military are currently carrying out a genocide of Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. South Africa accused Israel of carrying out a genocide last Friday in the International Court of Justice and asked for the UN court to order a ceasefire in addition to investigating the claims made regarding genocide. Now let's start with the genocide allegations and Israel's reaction to it. Now the impact of the investigation remains unclear because Israel is not a member nation of the International Criminal Court and does not recognize its jurisdiction. Israel is, however, a signatory of the Genocide Convention, along with South Africa, which paved the way for the case at the International Court of Justice, also known as the World Court. Now, in the Gaza Strip, conditions have just gone from dire to catastrophic over the few months of this war. Just to give you an update on the number of civilian casualties and the absolute destruction in most of Gaza, particularly in the north. More than 20,000 people have been killed in Gaza since the beginning of the war, most of them civilians, according to the local health authorities, primarily in Israeli bombing. I want to pause for a second and just note that that number does not include the Palestinians that have been trapped under the rubble, Palestinians who are not able to be saved by anyone in the Gaza Strip because of the fact that they lack the fuel necessary to operate the heavy machinery that can dig through the rubble. So the death toll is actually much higher than that, but this is a conservative estimate in regard to confirmed deaths in the Gaza Strip. Now, with aid delivery restricted and aid workers unable to move safely within the territory, half of Gaza's roughly 2.2 million people are at risk of starvation, according to the United Nations. In addition to that, all sorts of illnesses are spreading rapidly in the Gaza Strip, which is unsurprising. They don't have access to clean water. They don't have access to any medical treatment, considering the hospitals have been bombed in the Gaza Strip, which is a notable sign of genocide. But I guess Israel will be able to make its case before the International Court. Now, more than 85% of Gaza's residents have been displaced from their homes, according to the United Nations, and many have crowded into shrinking zones in the enclave south that Israel has designated as safer, though as we all know, it's still not exempt from aerial bombardments. South Africa has been one of the most vocal critics of Israel. In early November, for instance, they decided to recall one of their diplomats from Israel over that country's treatment of Palestinian civilians in Gaza. And South Africa's president has compared Israel's treatment of Palestinians to apartheid, the racist system of segregation that governed South Africans for nearly 50 years before it ended in 1994. Now, I just want to note that the Israeli government says that they're going to defend themselves. Spokesperson Eylon Levy says the following: in giving political and legal cover to the October 7th massacre and the Hamas human shield strategy, South Africa has made itself criminally complicit with Hamas's campaign of genocide against our country, saying that the state of Israel will appear at The Hague to dispel South Africa's absurd blood libel. Levy accuses South Africa of fighting pro bono for anti-Jewish racists. Give me a second, Cenk, because I got to get to this video real quick before I open this up for comment, because as we know, any vociferous critic of Israel is automatically deemed an anti-Semite, someone who engages in blood libel. A perfect example of that is Alan Dershowitz, who just a few weeks ago went on Al Jazeera for an interview, and I commend him for that because he was asked some tough questions. And when it comes to allegations regarding Israel's bombing of hospitals, for instance, Alan Dershowitz claims that the source of the information, terrorists, and that includes Doctors Without Borders. Let's watch.
If the idea is that the tunnels are underneath anyway and the bombs don't do anything to them, and they find them intact, but they seemingly find them intact afterwards.
We know that they didn't bomb the hospital. We know that that was an errant rocket.
Which hospital? Because there's many hospitals.
Hospital where 500 people were killed in the parking lot. That was a false story that was circulated by Hamas and by the Palestinian
What about the Indonesian hospital or Al Shifa hospital or Nasser hospital, all of those ones?
Doctors Without Borders has become part of Hamas, and they speak for Hamas, and they protect Hamas, and they cover for Hamas.
He said the same about the United Nations and UNESCO. Anyone who dare criticize Israel and its treatment of Palestinian civilians, obviously you're linked to Hamas, including the doctors who, by the way, literally risk their lives to provide medical care for Palestinian civilians in the Gaza Strip. He referred to them as terrorists. This man is disgusting.
So now the new standard is, if you're trying to save the lives of innocent civilians who we're in the middle of murdering, you're the terrorist.
Yep.
Let that sink in for what a lunatic position that is. And yet Israel supporters look at Dershowitz and go, nailed it, totally nailed it. Look, we were busy killing those civilians. That grandmother and that baby are obvious terrorists. And these terrorist doctors come in trying to save the baby's life. Terrorists, anti-Semites. Now look, we've said this a billion times on the show. There is actually anti-Semitism in the world, a massive anti-Semitism, right? But now, unfortunately, they've ruined the word completely. Now when I see anti-Semite, when anyone sees anti-Semite, especially in regards to the Israeli-Gaza situation, the normal assumption is, oh, that's probably a good person criticizing Israel for war crimes. That is now, so like there's actual anti-Semitism in the world, there's actual anti-Semites. But now there's no meaning to the word. There are actual terrorists in the world, but now there's no meaning to the world. Now those words mean people who dared to criticize the right-wing government of Israel as they murdered over 20,000 innocent civilians in the Palestinian territories. 85% of them don't have homes anymore. Are you kidding if you think this isn't ethnic cleansing and genocide? It's because it's a sick joke. This is the biggest ethnic cleansing I have ever seen in my lifetime. In my lifetime. So, I mean, what is your excuse? They had it coming because all of them, it's all Hamas's fault? Because they forced us to kill all of these people. Well, then why did you fall into their trap?
They purposely, I mean, look, Netanyahu and Israeli politicians will say one thing to the American press, but I would encourage you to actually watch interviews and listen to what they're saying to press in Israel, because they're very clear about what their intentions are. The reason why they have leveled northern Gaza and destroyed 85% of the buildings in the Gaza Strip is because they intentionally want to make it unlivable, and they want to push Palestinians out of the Gaza Strip into Egypt, into the Sinai Desert to be specific. They're clear about that. They say it over and over again. And by the way, just quickly going back to Dershowitz, it is unsurprising to me that in regard to defending itself before the international court, Israel wants Alan Dershowitz to represent them. So Barak Ravid wrote on X this morning, Israeli officials say Netanyahu wants Alan Dershowitz to represent Israel at the International Criminal Court hearing next week about South Africa's accusation that it is conducting genocide in Gaza. I called Alan Dershowitz, who didn't deny and said, I can't comment about it at this time.
Okay, well that makes sense. He's a total gigantic liar who his only go-to move is character assassination. He's perfect for Netanyahu. So, and they're not even trying to make sense. So I want to address three more things here in terms of the arguments that both Dershowitz and a lot of Israeli supporters use all the time. One is, hey, why don't the other Arab countries just take these people? Why don't we just drive them into the goddamn desert, or just drive them into not where they lived and where they grew up, where their family was their whole lives and beyond?
Let's frame it correctly. Why don't other Arab countries assist us in the ethnic cleansing of Palestinians in the Gaza Strip? That is what the question really is.
So that, look, driving people to another place is the definition of ethnic cleansing. It's ethnic cleansing 101. So if you say, hey, I'm unfair for pointing out something that is 100% true. No. Israel is unfair for actually doing it to 2.2 million people. Wake up out of your insane bias. If Israel does it, it's great, it's awesome, it's amazing. That's what everybody in power in Washington says. Two more things. The human shield's nonsense. By that same exact logic, South Africa, the original apartheid government, could have said, the ANC, the African National Congress, they're hiding in the ghettos that we've set up for them. And so I can't believe it. They haven't set up military installations. They haven't designated a place that we could bomb. So of course we had to murder the blacks in South Africa because they were being used as human shields by the African National Congress. You could make that argument literally in every case where a government oppresses a minority. and the minority has no place to set up military installations or their own government, and then you bomb the crap out of the civilians and go, oh, not my fault. Just the people I was oppressing dared to fight back. So then when I murdered more of them, they were just human shields. Why didn't the African National Congress go and set up a military installation? It's all their fault. Absurd, insane, yet it's set on TV 24 hours a day, okay? And then the last one, blood libel. Blood libel is a very, very serious thing. Not only did the Germans use it back in the day, but it's been used for millennium now. And it's Christian fundamentalists of all back in the day, right? Including all the way up to today, where they say, oh, the Jews kill your children and drink their blood. Now, when QAnon came around, I said, whoa, watch out, watch out. That's exactly what blood libel is, right? Because they would talk about, oh, the people in power are murdering the babies and drinking their blood. And Hillary Clinton had the face mask. That's blood libel. No one even noticed. They were like, oh, what, huh? Maybe a couple of people did, but generally not talked about. That's actually, in this case, Israel kills at least 9,000 children so far, at least. And then it says, if you point out the fact that we have killed 9,000 innocent children, then we're gonna say it's blood libel. No, okay, now you just destroyed that word. Okay, and every day Israel costs Jews across the world sympathy. Like for actual suffering that they have in all the different countries in the world. Now, anytime anybody says it, they go, oh, you're right. Yeah, more Israeli propaganda. Who would you like to kill today? What are you doing? Stop it. You're not only brutalizing the Palestinians, you're ruining it for Jews across the world. Because every time you use this propaganda, well, if I don't get to kill 9,000 innocent children, then and you dare to criticize that, blood libel, anti-Semite. Oh, human shields. Okay, whatever, man. You could say all you want, but the rest of us, the rest of humanity is not buying it. Not at all. And you sound ridiculous and barbaric.
If you enjoyed this video, that's because of our members. They make us independent, they make us strong, and they make us honest. Become a member today by hitting the join button below.